Philadelphia, about to see an international wrestling bout between Bronko Nagurski, weighing 234, the champion of the United States, against Jim Londos, weighing 202, the champion of Europe, for the undisputed championship of the world. The official announcer has just introduced the two boys, and they're coming out from their corners to receive the instructions from the referee, with their seconds and handlers right there listening in on the conversation. That's Bronko Nagurski with his back to the camera. The two boys shake hands now, with Nagurski coming back to this corner on the left, Jimmy Londos going over to his corner on the right. Jimmy Londos is giving away 32 pounds in this championship match in Convention Hall. They meet out in the center of the ring. Backpedaling away is Jimmy Londos, a little bit wary, a little bit afraid to get into that referee's hold that Bronko Nagurski seems so anxious to get into to start the proceedings here tonight. Over against the ropes goes Jimmy Londos, and he backpedals away because he knew he was in a bad spot there for the moment. It might have been possible for Bronko Nagurski to get in there with a punishing hold. Back in the center of the ring, they go into the referee's hold once again, each struggling with all of his more than 200 pounds to get the edge of that referee's hold. First one has it, and then the other has it, with diminutive Jimmy Londos backpedaling away over into the corner, ducking out of harm's way just in time, then coming out to meet Bronko Nagurski the ring once again, and once again to struggle in that referee's hold, but not for long, as Nagurski brings Londos smashing down to the canvas with a wrist lock. But again, Londos ducked out of harm's way just in time. Back into the referee's hold again. It takes some few moments to get this bout started here. Each of these boys is a veteran of the ring wars. Each is a very capable performer, and each is a little too clever to give the other boy much of an advantage. Watch Londos back heading over toward the ropes, with the referee ducking over there to be sure that Londos doesn't succeed in grabbing that top rope. Of course, if he can, that'll be an unfair advantage. Down he goes to one knee on the canvas once again, as a result of that punishing arm bar that Nagurski has on him, and with which he forces Londos smashing down to the canvas. Londos, however, is able to keep one shoulder off the canvas long enough to keep out of danger of losing this one-fall match. He wrestles and writhes and struggles, reaches out with a foot to gain a little leverage from that bottom rope, but the referee was onto his job and kicked the rope out of the way, so he's got to wrestle there. All this time, Bronko Nagurski has held that same hold, that punishing arm bar on Jimmy Londos' left arm. Londos is saved this time by the ropes as he topples over against them and the referee breaks them. Notice the quiet, gentlemanly, orderly way these two boys break at the instructions from the referee. That's quite a treat in wrestling these days, but they don't hesitate to start mixing it up again. Back into the center of the ring and again in the referee's hold, but Londos breaks out of it with a smashing forearm to Bronko Nagurski's jaw. This time he is squawking a little bit to the referee and says that Londos has his fist doubled up, but Nagurski is in there with that series of butts to the midsection. Londos doesn't like that either, and again he squawks to the referee, but they meet back in the referee's hold, right smack in the center of the ring again. It looks like a beat that Bronko Nagurski has on Jimmy Londos, the Greek Adonis now. The referee says it's perfectly legitimate, no matter what it may be. Nagurski succeeds in smashing Londos down to the canvas again, and watch him writhe and kick and try and break out of that hold. But Nagurski has it all together too strongly out of it. All he can do is lie there for the moment and hope for the best. He tries to come to a sitting position, but that's just exactly what Nagurski likes, and he smashes him down to the canvas again. They break out of it this time, and Nagurski is taking his time to come to his feet. He's a little bit afraid of a flying tackle from Jimmy Londos, but they meet back in the center of the ring again, a little bit more casually this time, a little bit more slowly. Again, they go in the referee's hold with each of these giant wrestlers fighting for the edge. This time, for the moment, it looked as though Londos might have it, but he took a rabbit punch from Bronko Nagurski and retaliates with a closed fist himself. Up against the ropes goes Londos, and suffering a bit from a series of butts to the midsection from Bronko Nagurski. This is turning into a little verbal war here between Jimmy Londos and the referee. The referee doesn't like Londos' complaints, and Londos doesn't care particularly for the referee. Londos receives another punishing right forearm, two of them, three of them from Bronko Nagurski, and claims the friendly protection of the ropes for just a moment. Again he comes out, and again it's Londos retaliating with that Smashing right forearm to the chin, but not for long as he goes up against the ropes from those punishing butts to the midsection from Bronko Nagurski. That's a new type of wrestling for Jimmy Londos, you know. Some of the younger boys who were football players in college started this business of butts and flying tackles. But Jimmy Londos knows how to defend himself, comes back this time with a leg trip and a reverse toe hold. That isn't doing Bronko Nagurski any good. As a matter of fact, the Bronk doesn't like it and tries to kick his way out of it, finally succeeds in doing just that. And Londos is a little bit sorry that he did get out of that, because it's a very arm stretch there that Bronko Nagurski was receiving, but Nagurski gets out of it all right, comes up with a leg stretch. Watch that right foot of Bronko Nagurski as he steps on the left foot of Jimmy Londos, who's lying there on the canvas, receiving the questions from the referee. The referee says, "Can you stand the pain? Do you want to give up?" And Jimmy Londos says, "No, I can take it. I'll never give up to Bronko Nagurski. I've taken worse punishment than he's giving me right now." And between us, ladies and gentlemen, that's saying plenty, because that's a very punishing hold that Bronko Nagurski has on that right foot of Jimmy Londos. He's twisting it from the left to the right and then leans over to apply pressure to Jimmy Londos' knee. Jimmy Londos doesn't like it, grabs his own wrist, hoping that in that way he'll ease the pain. Again, shakes his head as the referee asks him if he wants to give up. Tries to come to a sitting position, does break out of it for a moment, rolls over toward the ropes and gets his head out under that bottom rope just in time to save himself from more punishment from Bronko Nagurski. The referee breaks the two, and back they go out in the center of the ring again. Nagurski thought for a moment that Jimmy Londos was going to launch a series of flying tackles off the ropes, and Londos might have had that thought in mind, but he thought better of it, and they went back into the referee's hold, and now each is taking turns at using the closed fist and the forearm to the other's jaw. It isn't doing either one of these wrestlers much good, but there's a side chancery now in the much smaller man's body as he arches his back and then finally throws Nagurski over the top rope himself. That was a grand exhibition of strength, but it didn't do Jimmy Londos, because Nagurski came flying off those ropes with the start of a series of flying tackles, and it just had to claim the protection of the bottom rope. Heat in the referee's hold again in the center of the ring, with Londos giving away a little bit, but then he goes crashing to the canvas over Nagurski's shoulder. The second time he crashes to the canvas over the wrong straight shoulder there, and ducks out of the way of another one of those flying tackles just in time. The referee counts 2, 3, 4, 5 as Jimmy Londos stays out on the apron of the ring trying to get his breath, and now he's back in the center of the ring, back into the referee's hold once again as they struggle for the advantage. There's a leg trip that Nagurski is taking from Jimmy Londos. Londos is bound and determined. He's going to give Bronko Nagurski just exactly what the giant Bronk gave him just a few moments ago. There's that leg spread there that isn't doing Bronko Nagurski a bit of good this time. He grabs his own leg to try and ease the pain, and apparently wants to twist his own leg. Says if there's any leg twisting to be done here, I'll do that, Mr. Londos. But Londos is inclined to argue about it and pulls the leg away and still applies all that pressure that is giving Bronko Nagurski so much pain as he writhes in agony. You can see the pain written on his face as he tries to come to a sitting position directly opposite the camera here. Opening his mouth, his face is a series of contortions and grimaces as he tries to convey to this audience some idea of the tremendous pain under which he's laboring at the moment. He was saved that time by the ropes. It was Nagurski's turn to be saved by the ropes, which have saved Jimmy Londos so many times in the start of this one fall to a finished bout here at Convention Hall in Philadelphia. There goes a side chancery, bringing Nagurski to the canvas, but not for long as he comes out of it with a very punishing head scissors on Jimmy Londos. Watch Londos try and kick out of that, but he can't do it. That scissors is too tightly wrapped around his jaw, and he claims that it's a stranglehold, but the referee gets over there to examine it and says, no, it's perfectly legal. Nagurski is using this as a breathing spell, lying there, letting little Jimmy Adonis try and kick out of it, which he finally succeeded in doing. But now it's up to the two to meet in the center of the ring and get back in that referee's hold once again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a hard, fierce wrestling bout with good, clean wrestling all the way. A couple of the finest wrestlers in the business right there in the center of the ring, giving a grand exhibition of the art to about 10,000 wildly excited fans at Convention Hall in Philadelphia. That's Beals again on little Jimmy Londos, and that's a very punishing hold, because if Bronko Nagurski wants to snap it, the result is, or might be, that Londos would crash to the canvas or go over the top rope. Jimmy Londos looks in a bad way there now as Bronko Nagurski swarms all over him like half a dozen wrestlers. Jimmy Londos doesn't know from which direction the attack is going to come. We can't see just exactly what that hold is that Nagurski has on him, but it isn't doing him any good. Two boys roll over the ropes with Londos on top. Nagurski stretching that leg out under the ropes just long enough to make the referee break that hold, and Jim Londos doesn't like it at all. Objects to the referee, but it gets him nowhere, so they come back into the center of the ring and quickly back into the referee's hold again. Each struggling to come out on top. If it's possible, it's Nagurski this time. And watch that gigantic strength of Jim Londos as he foils Nagurski, who tries to bring him over shoulder with that chancery and crashing down to the canvas. It's sheer brute strength alone, plus skill, which is letting Londos foil Nagurski there in that attempt to throw him over shoulder with that chancery. It's one of the grandest exhibitions of scientific and skillful and strengthy wrestling that we've ever seen. Nagurski gives up and backpedals away in disgust. Coming back into the referee's hold again, with Jimmy Londos applying that side chancery this time. The referee apparently rules that it's a stranglehold. Londos objects, but still it gets him nowhere. He throws his hands out in appeal to the audience, but then decides that he'll stick to wrestling and comes back into the center of the ring again in the referee's hold. Let's see who comes out on top this time. Again, it's Londos with a chancery over shoulder. He throws Nagurski. Nagurski implies by his gestures that it's a stranglehold. Nagurski holds onto that top rope there as the smaller man, Jim Londos, tries to throw him out. Both wrestlers go out over that top rope, with Londos the first one to climb back into the ring. He's carrying on that personal feud with the referee that has been in existence there since the first bell. They're mixing it up again. There comes that airplane whirl and slam, with Nagurski crashing down to the canvas, with Jim Londos swarming over him, attempting to pin those shoulders for the required 3 seconds. Another airplane whirl, another slam, and once more Jim Londos is on top of Bronko Nagurski. Nagurski succeeds in kicking out of that one, however, and charges off the ropes with a flying tackle. There's another flying tackle, flooring Jim Londos and forcing him out on the apron of the ring between the center and bottom ropes. The referee starts his count, but Londos doesn't even care to rest. He comes right back in again and is thrown once more by Bronko Nagurski. Again, he crashes to the canvas with that chancery, with Nagurski in there anxious to press that advantage if he possibly can. This time, Londos has gotten around behind him, but it still does him no good, and once more he crashes to the canvas using a rabbit punch now and then in an attempt to break out of that hold if he possibly can. He's managing to keep that right shoulder off the canvas. The referee is down there looking to see if it's a fall, but no, he's back up onto his feet again, with Nagurski dragging him over to the ropes. And watch that left arm of Nagurski's go over Londos' shoulder. That was a punishing hold if we ever saw one. Yes, it was, ladies and gentlemen. The referee has objected to it. Jim Londos is over in the neutral corner, and Bronko Nagurski is feeling of that injured arm of his, trying to get circulation back into it if he can, and obviously trying to keep it out of harm's way. He's trying to protect it and wrestle solely with his right arm if it's at all possible. He's determined and anxious to finish this bout in just as quick time as he possibly can, because that left arm of his is apt to get him in trouble. There it is again. Londos has the scent of victory in his nostrils, apparently. He knows that he has severely hurt that left arm of Bronko Nagurski's, and he's pressing in there anxious to apply all the punishing holds to that left arm that he possibly can. Nagurski saved himself that time by a well-placed kick to the jaw, but Jimmy Londos is pressing in there, chasing after Nagurski, smashing him to the canvas with that airplane whirl and slam. Now apparently deciding to go to work on that arm again. It's that same arm over the shoulder to which he's already applied such punishment. Down to the canvas, Bronko Nagurski goes once more. Watch him try and protect that arm if he can, but no, Jimmy Londos is too quick for him. He gets in there with the airplane whirl, slams him to the canvas again. It looks bad, ladies and gentlemen, for Bronko Nagurski. Watch the referee down there counting, and there is a new champion of the world, Jim Londos, who in his excitement and happiness jumps up and down like a rubber ball there, and in come his seconds and handlers, just as happy about the whole thing as he, as his hand is raised now, and there are the press photographers reporters from the great networks of newspapers all over the country, and the referee is still holding up that hand, the official announcer rather, of the new champion Jim Londos, the Greek Adonis. Incidentally, that was the second defeat for Bronko Nagurski in 6 years of professional wrestling and in over 200 matches, and it